Hey, what's up everybody? It's Carpo here. Don't really have a particular subject laid out for this video, as usual, but I guess a friend of mine just left, and haven't seen him in a while. He has two kids the same age as mine, and we don't talk very often, having 2 and 5-year-olds. And he lives down at the coast, and he popped into town and he swung by. And while he was here, I heard him, he was talking to his wife on the phone, and I was thinking about how different his relationship is than mine, and the way that couples talk to one another, and how people talk to one another. And he's like one of my best friends, but we're both very quirky in our own ways. And this came not too long after having a conversation with another good friend of mine who was over here a couple days ago, who gave me kind of an insight into some of his behavioral patterns and why he thinks that he has them. It had to do with when he was young, and an event happened which he had blocked out and had caused him anguish, and it's only recently begun to really manifest and surface strongly. And I began thinking about different people, how different we all are, and how my buddies and their quirks, and me and my quirks, we deal with each other's shortcomings and work with each other on our strengths. If a friend and I are into completely different things, but we have one thing that we relate to, we get together and we discuss that, or we perhaps work on a project together. And oops, I don't have very many friends, but the ones that I do have are close. And it's not that I don't have friends. It's a choice issue. I've been very distant from people over the years because of things that happened to me when I was young. And these are things that I've realized over the years. I always thought that I was a pretty rounded individual with a charmed life, so to speak. But when I was talking to my buddy the other day he was telling me about his childhood issues, I said I've led a pretty charmed life, and I can't imagine, how that must affect you. I was like, the only bad thing that's really happened to me is my dad dying when I was 14. He's like, dude, that's a pretty intense thing. And I said, I guess it is. It's just something I've learned to deal with, so I don't think much of it. But if my dad was here today, I'd be a totally different person. I wouldn't have had to tread water and struggle, I guess not tread water, but swim against the current, try to understand how things work on my own without having a father figure in my life. And perhaps that's why I am so standoffish against people who claim to be great teachers, or that are trying to show people the truth or whatnot. And maybe that's why I'm cynical and dry towards that. It's because it's what each man makes of it, And I after teaching myself for so long, it's hard to listen to what anyone else says. It takes me back to that quote I heard the other day. I can't remember who it was, but he said, religion always seemed far too personal of an issue to rely on some other man's word. And I was applying that not to religion, but to everything, All these things that appear to be true, and that all lead back to maybe not being quite what we thought they were. So anyway, we're all the things that happened to us when we're young, When that happened to me also, I made the point of bringing up my dad was that when I lost my father, I realized what it did to me as far as pushing people away. I'm very cautious about who I befriend. I've had people who want to hang out and maybe try to, let's go out and do this or do that, and they're just like, make an excuse, and eventually they don't want to associate anymore. And I realized I've kind of pushed people out of my life because I'm very cautious about what I attach to, who I attach to, because I don't, I guess that's probably that subconscious fear of loss. But I'm able to analyze it and at least look at it and see, tell myself the truth about who I am and why, and realize that, we're products of our environment, so to speak. So, which brings me, I guess, to, I'm assuming that I have enough battery life. Nope. I'm almost out of battery, so I guess I'm going to have to finish this if it clicks off in the middle. I'll come back to it. But I really wanted to cover a couple particular issues, so I'll be back.